if you had to go back in time
Mhm.
and relive as a
Mhm.
student once again, what would you have changed?
First of all, language. The only thing I would change is language.
What things one needs to keep in mind while coming to Germany?
Do not depend on people. Do your own research. Take your own decisions. You can take opinions from people, but form your own decisions.
Welcome to the second episode of the Kamath Talks. In today's episode, we have with us Sunny Dsouza, who came to Germany 2 years before. He came as a student and currently he is working in a company in Frankfurt. When someone comes to a new country, it is always challenging, whereas when someone comes to another country for studies, it is more challenging. He has to look after his studies, setting up his life, and much more. So let us dwell into the life of a student who came to Germany for his master's studies. It is none other than Sunny Dsouza, who also has more than 100k subscribers on his YouTube channel. Welcome, Sunny. Welcome to this podcast.
Yes, thank you, Kiran. Thank you so much for this invitation. When you first invited me, I was not really sure what to talk about,
Mhm.
and I'm still not sure what to talk about, but there are some points in my mind that I want to talk about and share from my previous experiences and to the people who are coming next. And I'm looking forward to it. We'll have a nice conversation.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to have you here. Now that you have completed your student journey here and already started as a professional, I am definitely sure that there is a lot of things to learn from you. So, to start with, for me, what is interesting is the point when you arrived to Germany.
Mhm.
How was it? How did you feel when coming to a new country?
Yes, that's one of the many questions that I get. How did it first feel when you come to Germany? So I'm a guy who was born and brought up in a small town of coastal Karnataka in India
Mhm.
called Udupi, and life over there is completely different than over here in Germany. So just to give some of the differences, weather in Germany, food in my town versus food in Augsburg or Germany, wherever. Um, my first instance when I landed at the Munich airport, I
Mhm.
come out and I just exited the airport and I look outside and it was pretty empty. So when you're in India, you're coming out from an airport, it's busy. There are a lot of security and a lot is happening around. But when I exited Munich, nothing. I was just wondering, did I do the process right? How did I come out so easily and stuff?
Mhm. Yeah.
Because that was the first signal to me when I realized how secure the city is or the country is. And then the challenges began to
Mhm.
navigate my way from Munich airport all the way to my WG in Augsburg. So
Mhm.
basically, if nobody knows what WG is shared room apartment concepts that we have in Germany. So if you are a student or some other person as a working, if you are living temporarily in some other city, then you could basically live shared in an apartment instead of having whole apartment yourself. In this way, you just share costs. So
Basically something like PG in India, paying guest, but here you have your own rooms
yes,
and
exactly.
not everyone stays in a single room.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So you have your own room. If it's a three-room apartment, everybody gets their own room, but you share the kitchen
Mm-hmm.
or the living space or the toilets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So from Munich
Mm-hmm.
all the way to Augsburg, that journey I would never forget in my life
Mm-hmm.
because one mistake that I did was I did not really learn how to buy the tickets.
Okay.
That was a big blunder from my part. I did all the research. I know
Mm-hmm.
what S bahns are, what U bahns are, what
Mm-hmm.
IC is, what regional bahn is.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really learned how to buy a ticket, how to use the ticket, what kind of tickets are available. For example, you can put a filter on the basis of second class, or
Mm-hmm.
you have a age a filter as well, where if you are under 26 or 27, you have cheaper tickets.
Yes.
So I come for the first time. I don't know about this,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in a contact with a lady
Mm-hmm.
who came before me to Augsburg.
Mm-hmm.
So she was somehow guiding me via Facebook.
Okay.
So she told me that there is a small
Mhm.
ticket machine
Okay.
near to the airport itself. So you go there and you put some details. You put Munich airport to Augsburg, and then you get a ticket.
Mhm.
Choose which kind of travel
Mhm.
tickets do you want. I just did it. I just printed it out, but everything was in German. So my second mistake, I did not learn German fluent enough to survive in a country where everything is in German. So normally what we expect as we live in India, everything is in English,
Mhm.
and we expect the same in other countries. But here in European countries, it doesn't work like that. They have their own language, even documents, tickets, signboards, announcements, everything German. I don't know how to read
Mhm.
what is written over there. So I'm using my phone to translate.
Mhm.
But the ticket was fine, so I go. Then my second next challenge comes. I have to find my S-Bahn. Like
Mhm.
my journey was from S-Bahn to the main Hauptbahnhof, and then from Hauptbahnhof to Augsburg. Where is S-Bahn? I
Mhm.
don't know. But since I've researched, I know that what's the logo of S-Bahn. So I followed the logo. I went underground. I took the S-Bahn, one kind German guy. I asked him, "Hey, this is my ticket? Is this the right S-Bahn that I have to take?" He
Mhm.
said yes. So I go. Um, so until now, what I've seen in Germany was just until S-Bahn and the U-Bahn, sorry, underground. And then my journey, while I'm going to Hauptbahnhof, I see outside the windows. I have to say, that was the most beautiful view that I've seen in my life. I don't know why. It was winter. It was not winter. It was a bit autumn season.
Mhm.
And when I looked outside, the grass was green. You can see some landscapes. You can see now pretty houses. I mean, it's completely different than what we have in India. So I was very happy, and that was the moment when I felt like, yes, I am now in a different country. So this marks the beginning of my new journey or my next chapter of my life.
So basically, if you do not have enough information, it is really
Mhm.
challenging in the first few months.
Mm.
You already said how did you arrive, what were the challenges, but as far as I see, also settling in or finding a
Mm.
accommodation
Mhm.
from India is a challenge in itself.
Yeah.
Did your university help you in settling in
Mhm.
finding accommodation? Was there any part of the university which helped you in the initial stages?
Um, so Germany is known for self-reliance and independence.
Mm-hmm.
So university absolutely does not help, but if I say does not help is also wrong,
Mm-hmm.
because there are some international offices for
Mm-hmm.
international students. They support and give information.
Mm-hmm.
They just give information, but they do not reserve some place for you.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
that is something important to note. So in my case, I applied for student dorms,
Mm-hmm.
other private dorms, and as well as Vegas. And student dorms, usually there is a waiting period of 2 semesters or 1 semester. If you're lucky, it's a lottery-based system. You might get it or you might not get it. So you never know. So it's not wise to be fully dependent that I'll get a student dorm in Germany. Doesn't work like that. So I applied for several Vegas. I think more than 100
Mm-hmm.
requests I've sent, and finally I managed, like 3 or 4 days before my flight, I managed to secure one Wege Zimmer or
Mm-hmm.
room. And I had some contact with a Brazilian friend of mine who was also my classmate. So I contacted him before, just,
Mm-hmm.
hey, can you please go and check if the room is real, because there are a lot of scams happening as well,
Mm-hmm.
where some people say that, hey, I'm not in this country, can you please sign the contract and send me the deposits, I will send the key to you via post. That happened to me as well, but I didn't pay money to them.
Mm-hmm.
That is why my Brazilian friend comes in. He looks at the place, he talks to the guy, he says everything is good, you can move in, and then I transfer my half deposit from India to secure my place. So that's how I found my room. Yeah.
That's really good because what most of the students also go wrong in is also pay some kind of mediators to do all of these things for them. Do you think it's a good idea to come to Germany through consultancy rather than doing it on your own? As
Mhm.
far as I understand, you did more or less everything on your own.
Yes.
Was it easy? Was it hard? What would your advice be in this?
Yes. So talking about applying on your own or going through consultants. it's not really a straight yes or no,
Mm-hmm.
because there are working professionals who want to study again, so they might not really have the time to do the research that I did. I sat on my computer and did research of all the universities, courses, the place, the life, and everything for almost 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I was able to navigate all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you need is on the internet. You just need to type the right keyword on the Google spacebar, go to the website, search everything, and connect the dots. That's all. So if you do this, you can manage everything by yourself. But as I said, there are working professionals
Mm-hmm.
who might not have the time to do this. So they might come through consultants. But in my experience, having done this research,
Mm-hmm.
it's easier to adapt and to learn and to adjust to the new systems easily, because you already know what to expect rather than coming here and being surprised.
Do you mean to say that there are more challenges probably coming up in future once you come to Germany, so that if you did some research on your own and you found out a way, then it would help you in the future? Is
Yes,
that what it
exactly.
is?
You might save a lot of time. So
Mhm.
instead of just coming here and then asking a lot of people what to do next,
Mhm.
what to do next, instead you know already what to do.
Mhm.
So you just do it.
Yes.
You save a lot of time, and you also not disturb a lot of other people who are
Correct.
busy here.
Okay. So it's very clear, like
Yeah.
how your journey was from
Mhm.
India, how your emotions were when you first arrived. Now that you settled in pretty much, one of the important aspect as a student is you have to study while also managing your daily course on
Mhm.
by yourself. Did you know cooking, or how was it? I, as far as I see,
Mhm.
you came at a very young age of 22 to Germany.
Mhm. Yes,
Probably you might not have done a lot of cooking on your own.
that's
So
true.
how did you manage it?
Yeah. So before coming to Germany, I took some cooking lessons with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to create biryani
Mm-hmm.
or make cook biryani, sometimes chicken curry,
Mm-hmm.
some other basic dishes. So navigating the cooking world with the very basic spices.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not really an expert. So in the beginning, it was hard for me to cook something that I could eat. I mean, cooking is not a problem; you have to eat it as well. And I was in call with my sister, with my mom, so they
Mm-hmm.
were helping me throughout.
Okay.
So then, once you get the knack, then you just get used to it, and then now if you just throw some random spices and your curry is good.
So more or less trial and error,
Trial
and you
and
found
error.
out
Yeah,
a way.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's really
Mhm.
nice to know.
Yeah, one more thing about cooking I talked about. In this case, buying grocery stuff was
Mm-hmm.
also difficult, because in India we have everything on the label in
Mm-hmm.
English,
Correct.
and here everything is in German.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know what you're searching for, it is some grocery vocabulary might be helpful in this case. So
Mm-hmm.
you navigate, you see something on the bottle or whatever, and you know what it is. Yes, I buy it. Otherwise, you will have to. What I did in the beginning was I used my Google Translator, picture lens, Google Lens
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. So I go to every aisle. Okay, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
I translate. Okay, this is this. I don't want this,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just navigate and buy whatever I wanted.
Now that you already spoke a little bit about groceries,
Mm.
is it really easy to find Indian groceries or
Mhm.
food items in Germany or in German supermarkets? How was it for you when you first
Mm.
arrived?
So there are some supermarkets like Lidl, Rewe, Edeka, and Aldi.
Mm-hmm.
So in these supermarkets, you will find some of the basic spices,
Mm-hmm.
but not all of the spices.
Okay.
So you can manage your way through them.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also some Asian stores, Indian stores,
Mm-hmm.
where you can go and buy whatever you want. So it's not like it's not available at all. You
Mm-hmm.
will find it. There are also some online websites nowadays which deliver everything to your house. You
Okay.
can also use that.
So it's not too difficult to find something Indian
Hmm.
in Germany.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice to
If you
know.
are a good chef, then everything is possible.
More possibilities probably
Yeah,
than India.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
good. So now that it's clear how it was, also what I find interesting is when you first arrive in Germany, in the first 3 to 4 months, you learn a lot, you see a lot, and also during this time you are able to figure out that there are really some cultural differences, and it comes as a cultural shock
Hmm.
to most of us.
Yeah.
Do you have some examples of your own cultural shocks that you went through?
Cultural shocks that I went through. That's really hard. I mean, basically the lifestyle, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because in India we are a very close-knitted family.
Mm-hmm.
The parents have control or
Mm-hmm.
saying in what the child does and everything. But here it's more about self-dependency and self-reliance, which is why children leave their parents' houses
Mm-hmm.
when they're 18 and they navigate their own life. So let's say that is one of the biggest differences. Nobody really, I wouldn't say nobody, but nobody will come to help you until you ask for it. That's also what I have seen, whereas in India, if you're in trouble, somebody might come and help you. So that's good. But as I said, cultural differences in terms of, let's say, food as well,
Mm-hmm.
because Indian spices and Indian food is rich in flavors, and we mix and make it more flavorful by mixing a lot of spices. But here it's more like, I wouldn't say bland, but they have their own flavor.
Mm-hmm.
We have to search for it.
Which is bland.
I wouldn't really say it's bland. uh, I like German food very much, which
Mm-hmm.
is why I go to German restaurants and have some dishes called as Schweinshaxe or Schweinebraten. Or
Mm-hmm.
if you go to Christmas markets or other markets, you have this big 50 meters, 50 centimeters wurst.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of food, they eat something completely different than what we
What?
do, but there are some similarities where we can connect the dots.
Okay.
Um, but in this case, I would say it is wrong to compare,
Mm-hmm.
saying that, hey, my food is better than your food, rather than as an opportunity to learn their culture,
Mm-hmm.
their food. So in comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of comparing, start from scratch,
Mm-hmm.
right, jump right in, start from the basic food, and then go all the way up. For example, you have a lot of bread varieties which
Mm-hmm.
you can experiment with. For example, I like very much to eat Laugenstange.
Mm-hmm.
It's like breze or pretzel,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like a big bread. So you cut it out and
Mm-hmm.
you put butter on top, and then you put honey on top. That's one of my favorite combinations to try. You can try it with cream cheese or various multiple different flavor cheeses, or you have Nutella or many more. So
Mm-hmm.
you can experiment as much as you like.
Once you come in as a student,
Mhm.
initial few months, as you said, goes in understanding how the culture is, how should I behave, how should I manage my
Mhm.
tasks, cooking, studying, everything. But after some time, I think you get used to these things, and then you want to explore more things
Mhm.
and probably want to have more friends, visit new places. How was your social life, and how did you explore different things? For
Mhm.
example, did you start to travel different places?
Okay.
How was it as a student?
So coming right into the country, it's difficult to travel because you
Mm-hmm.
have your processes to make, something like start Anmeldung, which is the city registration, and
Correct.
then you have to activate your bank
Mm-hmm.
accounts, you have to activate your health insurance, and then once you get through, you have to change your visa to a residence permit.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes time. So until everything is done, you are kind of mingled up in your own life with all the bureaucracy, as well as you're going to university and also trying to find a part-time job. So life is very busy for the first 3 months, and it's overwhelming. Lot is happening, and you're also missing your family, you're alone. So traveling at this time is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not impossible, but it's very hard. So when I first traveled outside Germany, it was in December, when almost Christmas came. So it was 3 months, almost 3 months for
Mm-hmm.
me. And my first travel destination was Switzerland,
Mm-hmm.
only for one day in
Okay.
Zurich, because it's a very expensive city.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Turkish friend, so he wanted to. He came here on Erasmus. He had to go back to his country, which is why he wanted to explore Switzerland before he had to go back. Then he asked me, hey, let's go together for one day. We'll just see Zurich and come back. It was fun, because when you travel a lot, you also get to learn new things. For example, navigating in a different city. So now we are first year challenged in navigating inside Germany. Now we are facing the challenge in Switzerland. So it's a new topic. You learn a lot of stuff. You meet a lot of people and you see their culture. It's different. So I would say traveling is one of the best things that you can do yourself, because it provides you with new perspective towards life. And you're and as I said, you should not compare here again Germany versus Switzerland or this versus this. You can find some differences, but live as a Swiss would do, live how a German would do. So it opens a whole new perspective and a whole new world for you, and it makes you more wise.
That's really good. I
Mhm,
also believe more or less
mhm,
that the more you travel, the more you meet new people, more you learn.
mhm,
Also, it helps in your life to get a overall perspective from different point of view.
mhm.
Coming to this exact point, how did you make new friends? I always felt that it's slightly difficult to make new friends outside of your academics or
Mhm.
your work. Were you able to make any friends outside of your classroom?
Outside of my classroom, yes. So if you are talking about classroom or university, you have to a bit differentiate,
Mhm.
because outside of classroom, yes,
Mhm.
because you meet people in some gatherings. For
Mhm.
example, our university has a special wing for Erasmus,
Mhm.
where all the international students come in, and there they do some outings for you, like taking on a hiking trip or taking you to other cities.
Mhm.
There you meet people like yourself. They're
Mhm.
coming from other countries and they're also looking for friends.
Okay.
It's a good place to meet somebody and to make friends. Secondly, I think when you're doing a part-time job, you will meet some people over there who are interning like you,
Mhm.
or as a working student, and there you can be friends with them after the working hours. And
Okay.
and obviously you have some people in your own classroom, so you can um, make friends there. So as a student, I feel it's a bit easier
Mhm.
to meet people and to make friends. But as an adult who's coming here for work, for example, right now I moved from Augsburg to Frankfurt, and I
Mhm.
didn't really make new friends there, because all I do is work from morning to evening. So
Mhm.
you don't really have that time
Time. Mhm.
to make friends or whatever. So in that case, my experience says that if you join to a dance class or some gym or to some other
Some sort of
events,
club
club
activities.
activities, there you meet people
Okay.
like you and you
Mhm.
can make friends over there.
Okay. One interesting thing that you mentioned is probably that you worked as a part-time while
Mhm.
being a student. Uh, when did you start this, and what was the motivation to do a part-time job?
Yes, first motivation is learning.
Mhm.
Second motivation is money,
Okay. Mhm.
because you have to survive here. And I think the money that you get from part-time jobs helps you sustain your life. So you're not dependent on parents or anybody else. So
Mhm.
reliant again. So I started searching before I came to Germany. I put in some applications and I got reply from some.
Mhm.
And one of the offers came from Allianz Technology, where in November itself,
Mhm.
but I had to start in January. So but it was a good time because I had to settle in for 3 months
Mhm.
and then I start my job in January, so it was good. Um, so it's a working student position, so there is no special way of applying to any jobs here. It's normal how
Mhm.
you apply for a full-time job. You make your CV, you apply, wait for their reply.
Reply.
If
Mhm.
they reply, first interview. But for working students it's normal, like 2 interviews.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's one, depends on the company.
Mhm.
And once you go through all the processes, you get an offer and then you start your job.
Okay. So basically, it was straightforward. And
Yeah,
as far as I understand, you started looking for a part-time job while being in India itself.
yeah, exactly.
This is something really nice, which I think most of the students do not focus on. And also, you look for a part-time job in the domain that you are going to study.
Mhm.
Um, what would your recommendation be to all the students? Did you find a difference in life as a student
Mhm.
while you were already doing a part-time job in a company and you had probably some leads, how the work
Mhm.
culture is? Does it really make a difference?
I mean, if you're starting early,
Mm-hmm.
you know how the system works. So
Mm-hmm.
that's important. So you know what kind of CVs or what kind of formats are allowed. Instead, you come here and then you do research or you ask, then that's the lost time I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So if you already know before, then you can also apply from India and then you say, hey, I'm coming here in October,
Okay.
so I'm looking for something starting December or January. That's the most ideal case, but it doesn't happen. But still, knowing and preparing your documents in advance helps you to directly apply when you're here.
Okay.
So it saves time.
Yeah. That's really nice to know
Mhm.
that you had something as soon
Mhm.
as you arrived in Germany.
Yes.
So you did a lot of
So it's more like
background.
an assurance kind
Okay.
of thing. Otherwise, you're worried about university exams and everything, and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, you're worried about
Getting.
jobs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you did a lot of background work.
Hmm.
That is very much appreciable. We spoke about a lot of things about socializing, work culture as a student, and then also what are the cultural shocks, what are the differences probably between your own country, India, and Germany. What we did not speak on until now is how does the academic life as a student look like?
Hmm.
Is it too difficult to manage academics here?
Hmm.
Or how was your feeling? How did your schedule look like?
Hmm. Oh yeah, one of the biggest difference I could say that in India, we at least I had a education system where we don't study much until the very end, and
Mm-hmm.
then we study all at once and then write our exams and it's done. But here it doesn't work like that. So every 2 weeks or every three
Mm-hmm.
weeks, you might have a project that you might have to work on with other people, where you have to collaborate as a team and do some research and write a paper or give some presentations. um, so these projects and presentation count as a grade or as a bonus point or whatever. um, and it counts until the exam. So you might have a written exam as well. It
Mm-hmm.
is possible sometimes your project is your exam. So it goes throughout the semester, which is why it's kind of difficult to manage your time, because you're attending the university, also you're doing some projects, or you're doing some work as well, and you're navigating the bureaucracy. So time management in this case comes in play.
Mm-hmm.
What I did was I had my Google Calendar and I put everything on it.
Mm-hmm.
So morning, wake up, eat breakfast this time, going to university this time, working this time. So once you have divided your day
Mm-hmm.
to what you do, it slightly becomes easier when time passes by.
You spoke a little bit about bureaucracy. Do you have some personal experiences where you say, okay, this was too much for me from a bureaucratic point of view?
I mean, applying application stuff,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it's too
Yes.
much.
Mm-hmm.
Just the waiting stuff, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of gets you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're applying something and you're waiting for a reply,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it takes a lot of time. So patience,
Patience.
that's
Okay.
all.
Yeah. Um, as you mentioned, academic managing academics as well as your social life is not so easy. Whereas using good scheduling and stuff will really help you sort out your life as you
Hmm.
did.
Hmm.
What is really interesting for me also is once you finish your 3 semesters,
Hmm.
you have to do a master thesis,
Yes.
and that is when it really get heated up
Yeah.
because you also have to look for a permanent job
Hmm.
probably at this point of time. Where did you get a master thesis topic in a company where you already did your part-time job,
Hmm.
or did you have to find another company? So basically,
Hmm.
did it help to do a part-time job?
Hmm. So in my case, I mean, it's not mandatory to have a master's thesis
Mm-hmm.
with a company. It's
Okay.
not mandatory, at least for us as
Mm-hmm.
business students or finance students. That is why I did not do this option of writing with a company. I was a working student there, so I just did my work there. I came home, I focused on my master's thesis.
Okay.
So finding a topic for master's thesis is something really difficult, and you spend some months thinking about it. You discuss with your professor, should I write on this? If I write on this, what should I research about? Are there any research papers on this? What methodology should I use, and so on and so on. So master's thesis is something that you have to do. It's not optional to get your degree. And in our university, they give you 4 months of time after registering your topic, to write your thesis and then submit it. And after you submit, you have to do a defense. What happens before is, before you register your topic, you have this long process and talks with the
Correct.
professor. First would be choosing what area of topic you want to write about, and it is business, finance, economics, valuations, or whatever. I don't really talk for engineering students here. I'm talking from finance background. Once you know economics or valuations or any statistics or whatever you're taking it on, you know what professor might help you, because they have been teaching you this. um, Once you choose your professor, you give them a proposal. Hey, professor, this is the 5 topics that I've narrowed down on this relevant topic. Will you be able to guide me to narrow down further, or give me your suggestions? What kind of research can I do in this case? And then you have this back and forth exchange, and then you finally agree on one topic, and then you register for it.
So more or less, it was not too difficult, but it's basically time consuming. If you do it in the right manner, then
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
too much of a hassle.
Yeah, but for first timers, it's always difficult. You don't know what you're doing. Same thing happened with me. You learn with the process. You do some mistakes, then you rectify it, basically.
Okay. At what point did you decide, okay, now I need to look for a job?
hmm
And how was this transition for you from academics to getting a job?
So I knew that I was gonna graduate by September 30th
Of this year.
of this year, which is why I started to look for job in April itself.
Okay, roughly around 4 to 5 months
Yes,
before.
because I knew that if I get a job as well, I need something in the future, so that I have enough time to convert my visa from student to a worker's permit, and so on and so on. It takes time. Also, getting a job with my level of German language is very hard. So,
Let's stop here. What is your level of German language?
so right now I am officially a B1 level,
Okay.
but still B1 is not enough for work. At least you need B2 or C1 level of German, with a little bit of fluency, so that you can communicate with clients or your employees, and so on and so on.
Do you mean to say here that having a certificate in hand or studying it in classroom is totally different ball game than being able to speak fluently?
Exactly. I mean, first you begin to understand what people are talking about, talking near you. Then, but you're really not confident in speaking. So you have to be in a group where they speak German a lot, so that you get used to it. And then some point in time, you start making your own sentences, and you're comfortable talking long German sentences. So I'm not there yet.
Okay.
So in that case, for me, getting a job was very hard, because especially for finance and business management background, most of it is about talking with people and collaborating. And in this case, you're living in a country where German is the main language, and if you do not know the language, then it becomes difficult. And you see, in beginning itself, I saw that most of the job postings had this last point: English fluency and German fluency. So you need to have both. So even though you're working in English, so knowing German helps a lot.
Okay, so that's probably a advice to all the
Yes.
students to somehow learn German, not only learn but also speak.
Yes, speaking
So
is important.
that's good to know. I also got to know that you recently graduated and you also had your graduation ceremony probably a week before.
Yes.
after 2 years of hard work and resilience, how were your emotions during your graduation ceremony?
Okay, that's kind of hard to say because it was nice. The ceremony was very grand.
Mm-hmm.
Feels appreciated, and it feels very nice that you had this 2 years of journey. You look back and you think, okay, it feels like you just came here, but it's 2 years already. So that document gives a feeling of closure. Okay, you've done your masters, and now you can call yourself a master student. Other than that, I don't really know I had any emotions on that day. So it was just a normal day. I go there, I collect my certificate, and I come back.
Maybe also because of the fact that you already landed a job.
Can be, yeah.
To go back, how did it feel when you got to know that you finally got a job,
Oh, yeah.
a full-time job,
Hmm.
which is also paying pretty decently
Hmm.
when compared to what we get
Hmm.
in India? So, how was your emotions at that point of time?
Yes. So emotions, when I got the offer,
Mm-hmm.
I was the most happiest man on this planet. I think I worked really hard to find a job from April, as I mentioned. So it's
Mm-hmm.
probably 5 months or so. And when you're giving a lot of interviews and etc., etc., and when you land something which what you're looking for, um, that gives you the best feeling in the whole world. I just cannot describe it. It was my final interview when I was face to face having this interview with my manager, and he, at the end of the day, he told me we decided to give you the job. So you have to act professional in front of him, but the feeling inside you was so happy that you can't really describe it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really a nice feeling,
yeah,
definitely, and I can imagine how it
yeah.
might have been for you. Uh, I think you spoke about anything and everything
Mm-hmm.
about a student life. How does it look when you arrive, once you settle, and at the end of your studies?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now we can go to a slightly lighter
Okay,
section and
okay.
see some of the funny things that
Mm-hmm.
you saw in Germany. What's one surprising German tradition or German thing that you could
Hmm.
see or realize that it's totally weird or funny?
Weird or funny? I always come back to this beer drinking.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I live in Bayern,
Uh-huh.
Bavaria,
Mm-hmm.
so you can say it's the capital of beer.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and every seasons you have this festivals of beers where they open, where they inaugurate the ceremony by opening the big barrel of beer,
Mm-hmm.
and then in some places they give it out to you for free as well. So when I first landed here, I was in that line to get that big mug of beer,
For
and
free.
for free. Yes, yes,
Wow.
yes. It's only in the inauguration time, yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
you have to be early on time.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's one German phrase or word that you like the most or find funny?
Okay, I that's a hard thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to say one word that is funny?
Or
Uh,
that you like the most? I mean, you might have a favorite German word.
to be honest, I don't really have a, but for some, not really a word I have, but for
Mm-hmm.
some reason, there is this one word popping in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
Schadenfreude. I don't know why.
Okay, yeah,
Do you know what it means?
no, maybe.
Schadenfreude. It's
It,
being happy from other people's miseries.
what is one German food that you like the most? You mentioned few of the different cuisines or food items.
Mhm.
Which is your go-to-go German food?
My go-to-go German food is Schweinshaxe mit Knödel.
Mm-hmm.
So this Schweinshaxe is just, it means it's a pork knuckle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a big meat. It's only a meat dish, so there's no anything else. And you have two potato dumplings that you can eat it with black beer sauce.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's one German place that you like the most?
South of Germany,
Mm-hmm.
especially Fusen area,
Mm-hmm.
or Zugspitze area, because the nature over there is really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really like living in the nature. I'm not a city boy, and sometimes I just go there for hiking and go to Neuschwanstein Castle or go to top of Zugspitze to have fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we covered most of the
Mhm.
aspects. Coming to the end of this session,
Mhm.
I would like to ask you, if you had to go back in time
Mhm.
and relive as a
Mhm.
student once again, what would you have changed?
First of all, language. The only thing I would change is language. Other
Okay.
stuff, I would say it's experience. You have to live it. You go through the miseries,
Mm-hmm.
then you find a solution, you are happy.
Okay.
That's okay. But one thing that I would change is to learn language at least until B2
Mm-hmm.
and then come here.
Okay. That's
Mhm.
really a nice advice
Mhm.
as well. And that would be exactly my next question.
Mhm.
You have been in Germany already for around 2 years, 2 years, 4 months.
Mhm.
What advice would you like to give to students who want to come in future to Germany?
Mhm.
What things one needs to keep in mind while coming to Germany?
Mhm.
So,
Okay. So, who are planning to study here and who want to come here? So, some of the advisors. So, mostly I've seen people planning only until they get a visa and
uh-huh.
buy a plane ticket. They don't really think what's coming after. So, maybe you should at least research on the life here, how people live here. So, you have to accustom yourself to their daily lives. So, plan before ahead. Um, Another thing would be just be aware that you are representing your whole country. We are
Mhm.
easily noticeable, I would say, because we are different, and your actions matter
Mhm.
because people are watching you. It doesn't mean that they are watching you. They don't really care what you do,
Mhm.
but your action do matter because if you are doing harm or if you are causing some troubles,
Mhm.
or you're not sorting your trash, or
Mhm.
you're throwing your trash everywhere,
Mhm.
people look at that and some kind of stereotypes can form that these people. So it was just that one guy who did something, but stereotypes can happen that everybody are the same. So just be aware that you are representing your whole country rather than being an individual person. So don't cause trouble for the people who are coming after you.
So that's
Yeah.
a really nice thought.
Yeah.
Uh,
That would be my advice. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sunny, for
Yeah.
this wonderful insights into your life. Definitely, it's a proud moment for you, for your family, once you complete this short journey as a student and get into a professional life. Um, it's totally a different world, and it has its own struggle and shortcomings, while also it has a lot of upsides. We
Mhm.
grow as a human, and I see that you have learned a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
And
So living alone, I think living alone and self-dependency, also one of my advices that I would like to give. Do not depend on people. Do your own research. Take your own decisions. You can take opinions from people, but form your own decision. Other people's decision should not be your decision. And once you see that you do not need anybody to live by yourself, I
mhm.
think that's the true version of being independent.
With this, I would like to thank Sunny again for coming on this podcast series, The Kamath Talks. Uh, if you like this video, please like, share, and comment on this video. And also feel free to see other videos which cover anything and everything about Germany. We will have wonderful other people who have lived in Germany, their experiences, and please stay tuned on this channel. Until next time, see you. Bye bye.
Thank you.